You all welcome back to African Colonization TV and Biafran History. So today we are going to give you things happening around Nigeria, Africa, and in Biafra land. Today is 15th February 2026. So according to the headline, US should target Igbo land, not Fulani terrorists, Northern elders to US President Donald Trump. So according to what is trending and the news that is coming up, that is on board right now, the thing the northern leaders they are crying for and they are saying, this recent visit, Yemi Tinubu wife went to US to visit Trump, and the plan of Donald Trump, how Donald Trump is being dealing with the all those terrorists, so they are not happy. So and the issue of US soldier coming into Nigeria, they are not also happy. So as it is now, the northern leaders, they are now coming out, start saying that the US army, Donald Trump, he should focus his target in the southeast, that he should leave the north for them, that they know what to do and they know how to do it. So we should leave the north for them and focus his attention into the southeast and the IPOB members, that they are the terrorists. So in this video, this man, he re-explained a lot of things concerning what is going on in Nigeria and the issue between Donald Trump and the Nigeria, because starting from day one, Donald Trump cites his satellites on Nigeria and they're concerning the Christian genocide that is happening in the country. So they are not happy with it. We don't really understand the type of country we are living into. We don't really understand. And the end, they are the one that will be claiming that it is not only Christian that they are buying. So now you have now seen help, the person that have come to wipe out those terrorists, and then you are still crying, claiming that why is he focused only in the north, that he did not focus in the southeast, that I am a Pope member, they are also a terrorist. So in fact, a lot is happening in this country which we don't even understand with the type of human being that is in this type of nation. We don't really understand. Some people believe that they own the country and they can do anything they like, while others, they are just a slave within the country. So I will allow you to watch it for you to see and hear by yourself. Don't skip any part of it. As you're about to watch, like, subscribe, and share the video. Go around, let others see things happening in Nigeria.
So guys, the Northerners are getting angry after Remi Tinubu came out to say that Nigeria needs more of the United States airstrikes. This Northerner who attended this interview was seen saying, why is Remi Tinubu saying that America should bring more airstrikes to the north? Why not the southeast where IPOB is? So guys, these people don't even understand the level of harm they've brought on Nigeria. The Northerners don't understand the level of damage they've caused this country, because with the level of terrorism going on currently in the north, this man came out to say, why is Remi Tinubu inviting the US to bring more airstrikes to the north? Why not the southeast? So guys, it appears these people do not even understand what is going on. Anyway, let me shock you with this headline. This headline says that bandits, that's terrorists, roam freely in Zamfara state, collect levies, attend Friday prayers, armed amid minimal security. These are, so you can see the image here. Terrorists were seen with sophisticated weapons. They went to pray in a mosque. An imam was there, an Islamic cleric was there, the head of the mosque were there, and these people will boldly come out and go to a mosque and start praying. Now, this Northerner is saying, why is Remi Tinubu saying more airstrikes are needed in the north? Why not in the southeast where there is? So you can see how these Fulanis protect the terrorism that is going on in northern Nigeria. If the Fulani leaders are coming out to drag these Fulani terrorists, to tell them enough of the harm they are bringing on Nigeria, I think this criminality would have stopped. But you see them boldly. How can you come out with killings every day? Killings every day. People are dying in Nigeria, and this man is saying that Remi Tinubu should have told that the United States to bring the airstrike the southeast, not to the north. Now, see this headline here. It says, bandits, that is terrorists, kidnap woman for resisting abduction. Kidnap two in fresh attack on Kebbi community. They killed the person who refused to follow them. And then they took two other people. These are what people are going through. Yesterday, I showed you a video where a woman was kidnapped 2 weeks after she delivered the baby. The baby has been left in the community while the woman is in the hand of the terrorists. I also shared a video. I also shared a headline with you yesterday where a woman was kidnapped, heavily pregnant, and she gave birth in the den of the terrorists. Now, a reverend father has been kidnapped. A catechist has been kidnapped alongside his wife, who is heavily pregnant. 30 people were kidnapped in that community. And this northerner is saying, why is Remi Tinubu not directing US airstrikes to the southeast? Why is she asking the US to strike in the north? So you can see the cover up among the northern leaders. There is a whole lot of cover up. These people are very sympathetic. Have you ever seen a northern elite coming out to condemn the Fulani terrorists who are trying to take over, who have taken over people's land in Nigeria? They don't come out to speak, even if there is attack. Look at Kwara State. Recently, almost 200 people were massacred, executed. Did you hear any northern leader come out to say enough is enough? No, none of them will speak. They will be quiet. And then if Remi Tinubu says we need more of US airstrike in northern Nigeria, you see a Fulani man rises up to start saying, why would Remi Tinubu dare say that? So guys, let me quickly show you how some Nigerians have reacted to this headline, where this PDP chieftain, PDP, they call him Jaffa Sani Bello, Kano PDP chieftain. He said, why is America not bombing the southeast? America should bomb the southeast, not the northern part of Nigeria. So let me take you through some of the reactions from Nigerians. This man say, you are mad at a Yariba woman for betraying you after both of you allegedly colluded to orchestrate the insecurity in Nigeria, only to end up chanting Igbo throughout your lamentation. He said, okay, I don't want to use some of the words that she used here, but let me go to another headline here. This person is saying that this man is clever by half. Imagine him criticizing the first lady for seeking help to curb terrorism or Fulani terrorist jihadists, and boldly expressing toxic hypocrisy in mentioning IPOB, sit at home, and insecurity in the southeast. He called Igbo several times in an interview where his argument was about the US eliminating the terrorists in the north. Now, here is the point. First, Fulani elites know the game they are playing. Their anger is that they have failed in their propaganda of using IPOB to cover up their terrorism, and not even $9 million spent by Nuhu Ribadu could succeed in watering down the Christian genocide by Mieti Allah, fellow Fulani terrorists. And he went ahead to say that this man have just realized that IPOB is Buhari and Abubakar Malami that prescribe IPOB, and not country in the world. And no country in the world has labeled IPOB as a terrorist organization. See how the hunter is now being hunted. Who is the evil? Buhari hired Asari Dokubo to destabilize the southeast as unknown gunmen sent herdsmen into bushes to attack and kill. After 8 years of Buhari, he left office and died not long after. Soon, unknown gunmen disappeared and Southeast is now breeding again. Only Fulanis are fighting to remove INEC chairman, fighting President Tinubu, and now fighting his wife. Fulani needs to retreat to their 12 states and let other people have theirs. So guys, it is really so pathetic the way this man spoke so boldly, that why is Remi Tinubu asking the US to strike the north and not the southeast? How many Igbos have gone to a mosque to kill an Islam because we want to take over? How many Igbos have even gone to any part of the north to start killing people or even to rob? How many Igbos are taking over people's land? It's only the Fulanis. God. My question is, where are the Hausas? Have they all died? Are the Hausas no more existing? Is it that they are no longer in existence? Why are you people not vying for political power? Why are you people not vying for political position? Like those of them in Southern Kaduna, why are you people not actively in politics? You have to be involved so that you make decisions for your people. Because as it stands now, the agenda is to Islamize. And for those Christians who are in core north, their lives are in danger. I mean, those Christians. And we live in a country where other Christian leaders don't care. Because if other Christian leaders care, why have we not built like a safe city for people who are persecuted? Why have we not been able to come up and build an environment where if somebody repents or somebody gives his life to Christ, you can easily come there and be protected and then also be guided until you are mature to live? Why are we just abandoning our brothers and sisters who are lamenting, who are being dealt with, you know, by these terrorists? So guys, it's really so pathetic what is happening in the country. Anyway, I don't know what you make of that. Now, this other headline here is saying that terrorists are being seen, you know, parading in Zamfara State without the fear of security agents. That's another thing, you know. Terrorists parade, armed terrorists. They are collecting armed levies. They are moving around the city. They've taken over. Oh my God, the country is gone. Heartlessness. Islam has brought so much problems to people, giving birth to children that are unguided. You know, children that cannot be guided. Now they are becoming hell on Nigerians. Anyway, guys, I don't know what you make of this. Let me know your honest reaction in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification for more. Thank you.
Recently, the wife of the president, the first lady of the country, was in America, and she was calling for more American strikes in the northern. She specifically stated northern part of the country. She didn't call for strikes in the southeastern part of the country that are suffering from the IPOB and sit at home and issues of separation, agitations of separation, killings that are going on there.
You don't think that it's fair to say that the North is a top priority when it comes to insecurity?
The North is a top priority when it comes to insecurity, but it shouldn't be labeled as a crisis that is based on faith.
Is there a chance that you are misinterpreting the efforts as something that is targeting Muslims or North to destroy the region?
Of course, of course. It is a deliberate act.
But where's the fact?
The facts are numerous. Wherever America in the past 20 years has conducted war, it's in Islamic countries. From Somalia to Yemen to Iraq to recently in Iran. Forgetting the fact that millions of Christians are killed in Palestine today. Millions and millions of Muslims are being killed over the years. The recent count in just the 2025 crisis between the Palestinians and the Israelis, 70,000 people dead. Americans are not focusing on that. The European countries are not focusing on that. So this brings out the hypocrisy in this in the southern hegemony. In the context of people with certain faith being designated as certain people.
So you're accusing the wife here. You're accusing the wife of the president of what exactly? What did the first lady do wrong?
The first lady has called for attacks. The
Against
American government, she did not mention terrorists.
Who do you think she wants to be
but she did not mention terrorists.
Quoting her word for word,
quoting her word for word, she called for more strikes in the northern part of the country. That's quoting her word for word. And if you look at the narratives that are being sent out by certain media organizations in Nigeria here, you talk about Fulani herdsmen bandits. You don't talk about Igbo bandits. You label criminality and target to a certain faith, or you target to a certain ethnicity, is absolute profiling and it's condemnable. This is what we need to desist from doing. We should call a criminal, whatever his background of faith, whatever his background of ethnicity, whatever his background of geography where he comes from. A terrorist is a terrorist. A criminal is a criminal. There is no need demonizing so many other people, innocent people. I'm a Fulani man, back and forth. If you say Fulani herdsman bandit, you're including me. There are criminals that I don't associate with. There are criminals that I condemned their acts.
But isn't there a chance that, I mean, the possibility that all the things you're saying could be true? However, the same narrative could also be empirical, that the bandits are majority from the Fulani extraction. And there's nothing wrong with that.
But if the bandits are from the Fulani extraction, then are you calling every Fulani man a bandit?
Yeah, but that is the point that has not been made.
All right, let me ask you another question. The majority of the people in ESN and IPOB are Igbos. We up till now have the tag of unknown gunmen. Why is it that we don't have the tag Igbo gunmen? I'm asking you that same question.
I suppose you have to talk to the people who are using unknown gunmen.
No. I'm asking you the same question because you asked me the same question, that the majority of the herdsmen, the bandits, are Fulanis. And what is wrong with associating the Fulani?
I'm saying it's a fact that some of them are Fulani.
It's also a fact that 100% of members of ESN and IPOP that are perpetrating the criminality in southeastern part of Nigeria are Igbo people. Why don't we label them as Igbo gunmen? Why don't we label them as Igbo?
Why is the equalization important in your view? Why is the equalization?
The equalization is important in the sense that you will be able to understand the hypocrisy that is clouded in the narratives that is being sent to the outside world. Fortunately and unfortunately for the northern part of the country, it lacks the mouthpiece to express itself. Most of the outlets, media outlets that are dishing out news and news agendas for Nigeria, for Nigerians, to the outside world, are people that hardly even understand the northern part of the region. So they send out narratives that suit their own interests. It's commendable. And it is a matter of urgency and necessity for our leaders in the north to start thinking about a mouthpiece that is going to extend and that is going to spread our own thinking and our own narrative. We are peace-loving people, we are humble people, and we are a religious people. I have told you in a recent interview that was conducted here with me, a Christian that is living in any part of Kano State is safer than a Muslim that is living in any part of Plateau. And that's a fact. In the past 20 years, how many Christians were killed in Kano? In the past 20 years, how many Muslims were killed, murdered, gruesomely murdered in Plateau? We recently have the issue of General Al-Ghali. In the southeastern part of the country, we have the issue of Gulag. We have the issue of Harira that was killed along with her six children and a pregnant baby.
If you have to cherry pick incidents, there are others who would also cherry pick incidents of mob action. Whether it's Deborah in Sokoto, for instance, or several other incidents where Christians have lost their lives as a result of their faith. I mean, there's always room for everybody to cherry pick and make his own point. But the larger conversation is, where are the common denominators?
The common denominators here is there is widespread insecurity in Nigeria, and it affects everybody. And the federal government needs to do the needful. Take a look at the legal brief that Joash Amopitan has written, dissect it, and look at the comments that are contained in that legal brief and the signals that it sends to the outside world.
Do you think the INEC chairman is responsible for what is playing out right now? Because you keep referencing that legal brief.
Of course, he is the one, he is the author of the legal brief. His seal is there, his name is on it. And up till today, he has not come out to dissociate himself from that legal brief. So we have to hold him accountable. It's a treasonable offense. I repeat it again, it's a treasonable offense. Calling for the use of external...
For a lawyer to...
Is a treasonable offense calling for the intervention of foreign military forces in your country, calling for the United Nations forces, the IU forces, the ECOWAS forces.
You just said the First Lady is asking for military strikes in the north. Is that also treasonable felony as far as you're concerned?
The First Lady of the country made a statement, and that statement can be interpreted in a different manner. This we are talking about a legal brief, a document that is of 80 pages that somebody sat down, drafted, and even said in that legal brief that Fulanis were latecomers to Nigeria as they joined Nigeria in the 19th century, forgetting that the Usman Dan Fodio jihad took place over 200 years ago, and associating everything that is happening in Nigeria today to the jihad of Sheikh Usman Dan Fodio. What is the link? What he has successfully done in that legal brief is label any northern Muslim as complicit in the killing of Christians in northern Nigeria.
That is your understanding of it.
That's what he did.
I mean, that's your understanding of it.
That is what is contained in the legal brief.
Okay, so
and that is what I understand from what I read in the legal brief.
You don't believe the New York Times reporting of an obscure screwdriver who has put together a report that has been used to reference what the U.S. Congress is using as
what
data
the U.S.
points.
Congress has done.
As data points.
What the U.S. Congress has done.
Genocide.
What the U.S. Congress has done is listen to a narrative that is one-sided, perfected their investigation that is one-sided, never took time or care to go and listen to the people in Katsina, to go and listen to the people in Kaduna, to go and listen to the people in Zamfara, to go and listen to the people in Sokoto, to go and listen to the people in Maiduguri. All the references that are being made is that they had a visit, they investigated in Benue, and they were relying on materials that were being sent out from Nigeria. That is a one-sided approach to the whole matter, and it is grossly unfair to Engineer Rabiu Musa Konkoso.
How should we Nigerians see that offer of the Americans?
Well, I think it was an escalation. The relationship that was already being built under Trump with Nigeria was taken to another level, more practical now than all the talks that was being said. And I think that we need to put this in proper perspective, because what they simply did was to send a small team of advisors, military advisors to Nigeria. And in fact, nobody actually knows when they came into Nigeria, because some information say that, in fact, some of them were here before the Christmas Day bombing that happened with part of Nigeria. But having said that, it is significant that they are here. It's an acknowledgement that Nigeria is opening up for foreign support to be able to address the issues. The US have decided to support procurement of military equipment for Nigeria. And like I said, this is another level. But then what should we make out of it straight away? Number one is for us to realize that this kind of relationship happens across the world, where America decides to intervene with any country. But then we must then understand that the countries have the major responsibility to play. It is not that the US is coming to do everything for us with fold our hands. No, they are coming to provide very basic things that they will normally do. Intelligence support, maybe training, maybe targeting. And one of the things that I am happy about is that from the information we have, the unit that are being sent to in Nigeria have special skills in targeting criminal leaders. Now, by this I mean that the low-hanging fruit for us with the US being here is that now we can take out the leaders with their support. We saw what they did with Osama bin Laden and some other leaders of ISIS. We should now adopt that strategy, the low-hanging fruit, of seeking out the leaders of these criminal groups around Nigeria and simply take them out. That is the easiest and fastest way to go about this. The US are here. They will provide us with this capability and support. Then we go after them. Tuji, for instance, it's all over the place. It's a bandit leader, for goodness sake. It's all over the place. And our military have not taken him out. The leader of Black Rawas is also going around spreading tentacle, and nobody have taken him out. The Kachalas of this world in Zamfara and all that. So the presence of the US here, I want to say that the low-hanging fruit is that we must then now seek their capability and their support to do the easiest thing to do to deal with this situation by they help us to track, identify where these people are and take them out one by one. By the way, this was what Israel did recently when they wanted to deal with the proxies, Iranian proxies that were threatening Israel. They simply went after the leaders of Hamas, Hezbollah, and the rest are there is peace today in Israel. I mean, relatively, in terms of attacks from this group. So this is the easiest or immediate thing that Nigeria can act from the US and achieve straight away.
All right, excellent. I'm going to take it to Emmanuel now, and to ask that why you guys were attending the prayer breakfast. I understand that this went on for several days. The context. The Nigerian context is the fact of the insecurity, which was why President Trump designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern, which was why he deployed that attack on Christmas Day. So while the prayer breakfast was going on, were you guys also aware that the Americans had deployed this small team? And then were there conversations around that and the general question of insecurity? Were there conversations between people attending the conference, the breakfast, and those of you Nigerians?
Yes, in fact, I should make clear that there was a massive contingent of Nigerians present and others from around the world because there was a summit on religious freedom. People may not know, Prophet El Buba was there as well. Alex Barbir, Honorable Benny and I were so excited to see that young American man who has come to Nigeria and is rebuilding houses. So there were massive discussions going on. In fact, let me say this, immediately after the prayer breakfast, as the First Lady left to go and give an interview on Fox, one of our delegates, Dr. Gideon Paramala, was invited to the White House for consultations. So there are lots of discussions going on and lots of actions going on, overt and covert. But let me say this, and this is very important, that apart from photo ops, there are practical things that need to happen. Now, the president of Syria was once a wanted terrorist by the US government. They offered 7 million for his capture, as well as 7 million for the capture of Abu Shekau. Guess what? He repackaged himself, he did the right things, and he was hosted in the White House in November. Nigeria should focus on doing the right things. They didn't engage with us in diaspora. They didn't engage with Nigerian faith leaders and faith communities at home. There have been more hearings on religious persecution in Nigeria in the US Congress than in the Nigerian House. Let me even tell you, last week as well, a young Christian orphan who has been held illegally by Kano government for 6 years died. And we had told the Nigerian government, release the boy. This is why people are being designated CPC. And if you don't address these issues, guess what? This year again, they will be designated and people will be shouting. So what I want to point out is part of the challenge with the First Lady coming out is that unlike your tenure when the Vice President was a Christian and a pastor, and you people came out and you were able to engage on that level, she is representing a Muslim ticket as First Lady. She doesn't have any political position. She's not even a senator anymore. So she cannot have the kind of access and credibility if we had a Christian vice president speaking on these issues the way that you and Osibajo had that credibility. So again, I call on the Nigerian government to work hard to address the issues that the US has noted. But I also call them to deal with the diplomatic deficit that they have. Guess what? For over half of their tenure, there has been no ambassador in Washington. Do you know that Buhari was a terrible president in the sense that he appointed Justice Usofo, an 80-year-old man, as ambassador in Washington, which led to the tragic situation where 2 Nigerian ambassadors died back to back in office. Professor Adepoye died and was replaced by an 80-year-old who died. Who does that? Okay? And we thought that was terrible. Only for Tinubu to come in and he didn't appoint any ambassador. So now you are spending millions trying to cure a problem that you created. So I call on the Nigerian government, appoint your ambassadors, hold hearings in the National Assembly on persecution in Nigeria. Invite us. I am saying this now. Invite us. We're willing to talk to you to show you the way to get things right. You pay a foreigner who doesn't know Nigeria, the most they can get you is photo up of 30 seconds and you're clapping after spending $750,000 a month on lobbying. It makes no sense. Talk to your people, engage, and we'll map out the way to resolve these issues.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Let's take it that same point to Benila. Benila has been a 5-time member of the House of Representatives. I'd like to have your take. Do you think that we could have gotten that recognition, because you did say that you two were delighted, you felt proud. Could we have gotten that recognition also in a cheaper way if we had an ambassador in Washington, D.C.? Could we have gotten that recognition without having to pay a kobo, Benny?
Lalu, first, let me say something that I feel I should mention. First of all, the issue of... Yes, you asked Emmanuel a very important question. If you don't mind, I want to go back to that question.
Yes.
About whether there were side meetings and what the meetings entailed. Yes, there were many side meetings held, and Americans wanted to know how they can help. But the takeaway I got from it is that, look, we're not going to run your country for you. We are only going to support you with equipment, maybe some training, and so on and so forth. And that's why you see that small force coming. We're not going to go down there and handle all of your security. But they did warn us that Nigeria is already targeted by terrorists, the whole of Nigeria, because there's a weak system right now in place, especially in terms of security. And so they're taking advantage of it. They did say that we must, as a nation, as a people, handle certain issues ourselves. And so as far as insecurity is concerned, that's very critical. It's our lives. It's Nigerian lives being taken away. So we need to, across the nation, especially in the entire northern Nigeria, come up with a solution. The Northwest, the North Central, and the Northeast. We see that violent attacks occur in these areas. America doesn't live in Nigeria. They cannot handle everything. We have to come up with a solution where it's kinetic and non-kinetic. So we have to also make sure that we prevent these attacks from happening. How do we secure communities? And that's the most important question, because the security of life and property is like one of the speakers said that we will be accountable to God, not just to man, all of us as Nigerians. So I think Nigeria should talk more about how to secure the lives of our people. The National Assembly, the government, the executive, the judiciary, the traditional rulers, and the people themselves must have a plan, and the security agencies. What is the plan for these communities? The early warning system is not working. You can see communities say they inform security. That's not working. Communities are still being massacred. What happened in Kwara, in Katsina, what's happening in Nigeria is very sad, and our hearts bleed. So I think we as a nation should be more serious on what is happening, why are lives being taken, and how do we secure the lives of Nigerians. I think also, of course, it's very, I believe it's very obvious that, yes, an ambassador is needed. And I think the government, President Tinubu's government, I think they've alluded to the fact that they will be sending ambassadors. And I believe appointments have been made. I believe it's in process and it's in the works. The ambassador has a lot to do, a lot of work to do. So we look forward to whoever is coming in as ambassador to handle, to fill in the gaps. One of the things I like about what I saw from the prayer breakfast, a lot of ambassadors were there. I also sat next to the ambassador of Moldova. The ambassadors here have a very strong network, and the U.S. government listens to the ambassadors. So I think the entry of an ambassador into, taking up the appointment and coming in to Washington to start their duties is very key to our diplomatic engagements. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I bring it to Dr. Okoro as we begin to round up. So do you think that the deployment, of those military advisors, like she said, they were told, the Americans told our Nigerians there that you guys have to solve certain things by yourself, Now, do you think, therefore, that this deployment of the American military advisors, do you think it can send a signal, to the terrorists, especially since we had that bombing in December 25? We've not had any other, and it's going to 2 months now. They haven't really felt any kind of that American impact. So is it that those advisors, being here signals to them, or should we expect more firepower, impact on those terrorists?
Well, at the end of the day, it's Nigeria. Talking about the Northeast, why you have not had a lot of these issues of terrorism anymore, attack, is because the Nigerian military seem to have mastered, or largely mastered, that side of the war. They understand it better now, and they are on the offensive. Before they were on the defensive, but now they are taking the initiative. They are going out and going after these elements. That's why you're not hearing much. It has only to do with the Americans bombing. But the coming of the US, unfortunately, the strategic risk is that now it gives a lot of the northern, the radicalists, a tool.
Talking points.
Yes, to say, look, we have foreigners from the US, from the West coming here. It gives them more ground to recruit people now, to radicalize more people. It also creates a new scenario that international warmongers, the jihadists, now might come this way and say, okay, Americans are here, they are in Nigeria, let us take the war to Nigeria. So if we don't manage this well, there are also going to be backlashes.
So how do we manage it well?
Well, manage it well is be proactive. Be proactive. Simply building our capacity and also sending out the right message. For instance, Niger Republic are not in a very good relationship with America right now. And then Nigeria is bringing Americans here. So it immediately creates that issue, that tension that you are becoming the friend of our enemy, or they are even in your country. So we need to manage that way. Then the key issue, because the Americans might come, stay here for as long as, and they will not achieve much, the issue of our governed spaces, where we have a large portion of our country that is controlled and governed by criminals. In other parts of the world, like Colombia, where America like this also supported, they dealt with this aspect of parts of their country that were not governed. And I want to say that in order to be able to achieve that, there's nothing preventing us from setting up a military drone brigade. All the activity will be to manage drones. And with drones, we can dominate these areas we are calling ungoverned spaces, where the Lakorawas are, where the terrorists are, where the bandits are. That's their home. If we can take over those spaces, those ungoverned spaces, it will benefit us with the support of the Americans now that they are here because of their capability. If we don't do that, the US being here will not make any serious difference. They will come because of the problem we have not been able to solve. They won't be able to do much because how many of them anyway, they are not coming with boots on the ground. They are just going to be advisors. And so what can advisors do if we do not do what we need to do? And then I keep talking about the political will. Now you heard about the attacks in Kwara and other places. Who has ever been arrested? Why is it possible for people to kill people in Nigeria and nobody is ever interdicted? Nobody is arrested and tried? Because it's there for all of us to see that when you are involved in this kind of criminality, you will never be brought to book. Nobody is ever arrested. The Kwara incident, nobody has been arrested. And other places, nobody has been arrested. The kidnap in the Kaduna State, nobody will be arrested, and don't know whether anybody will ever be. So these are internal things that we must deal with by ourselves before the American support can have any
Meaningful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who sold Nigeria? How did a person like Pantani end up being in charge of our national data? How? Somebody who is a self-confessed terrorist became our Minister for Technology in charge of our national database. How? How? Who sold Nigeria? And me and you, we kept quiet.
Oh yes, who sold Nigeria is a very critical topic, and something we need to look into by our next video. So coming down to what this northern leader Fulani, what he was saying. Imagine the kind of statement he was making. Imagine. Meaning that everything that is going on in this country, they are aware of it. It is not issue of hiding it anymore. And they know what they are doing. They are calling, why is it that it's only in the north that the US is targeting? Why are they not targeting the southeast, the IPOP, the ESN, all those kind of things? Just finding a place to hang his hand and his leg. He don't even know what he's saying. Imagine how the country is being turned upside down and there is none of their business. What they know is that how they will use to conquer everywhere and take over. Already, thank God that the U.S. government, they are now looking into the issue concerning what is happening in Nigeria. If you look at the people who call our senators, governors, House of Rep, and the rest of them, they are not doing anything. All of them, what they are after is their political posts, their political power, how they will occupy their seats. And every month, they will come to Abuja and share the money and go. They are not after the poor man. They are not after the people that they have chased away from their village. They are not after the bandits that is chasing people out of their home, buying of people here and there. They are not after the citizen of the country, because after all, whatever that is happening, their flight is there. They can fly out of the country and comes into the country anytime they like. So none of their in fact, everything that is happening in the country is none of their business. If not that God has called Donald Trump to come into the country, that is why it looks as if there are some certain things that is changing in the system. And imagine the type of money the Nigerian government is paying to Washington to do what? To close this issue of Christian genocide and the ransacking of villages and the destroying of life and property in Nigeria. Imagine the kind of money they are paying them to close down everything. For you to see that this government, this country we are staying, we call a nation. If you look at it very well, you will see that it has not been a country. It's just an area where people just gather themselves and be claiming it is a country, but it is not a country. Well, I would like to hear your comment down below. What do you think about the whole thing going on in Nigeria? Like, subscribe, and make sure you share the video go around. Let others see things happening in Nigeria. We say thank you for watching.